More allegations are coming out against the one-time owner of a mid-Missouri nursing home, and now authorities are looking into the issue. Good evening, I'm Meredith Haynes. Ryan has the night off. Last night, we told you about problems with Benchmark Healthcare, the company that owned Loma Linda Nursing Home in Moberly until about 2 weeks ago. Today, more stories of missed payments and bounced checks are coming out. ABC 17's Heather Horrigan has been looking into Benchmark for the past 2 days. And Heather, what did you learn today, and what can you tell us about the state's involvement?
Well, Meredith, I spoke with the Missouri Healthcare Association today. The interim director of the group said she talked with Missouri's Department of Health this morning about Benchmark. She wants the issues with Benchmark's former employees resolved, but could not go into detail. Now, I also talked with the owner of a nutrition company who saw our story last night. She says Benchmark owes her tens of thousands of dollars. She wants answers, and I found out today it's tough even finding anyone to provide those answers. This is the owner of Benchmark Healthcare, John Sells. He is the third generation of his family to oversee the business, a business whose properties are now subject to more than a dozen lawsuits in Missouri. I tried contacting Benchmark multiple times today with no answer. Even tried John Sells' direct line, got nothing, and couldn't even leave a message. But while doing research, I found this YouTube video from last year.
Being adequately funded means a lot economically. And of course, because we receive mostly 80% of our revenue from Medicare and Medicaid, being adequately funded is necessary to continue providing quality of care.
Looking at state documents, I came across the name David Crater. He's a Southeast Missouri lawyer who's listed as the registered agent for 62 Benchmark companies, meaning he is designated to receive and send legal papers on behalf of the business. I called him today.
Well, I'm not at liberty. Heather, I'm not at liberty to talk to you about this. What is this about, Heather?
When I told him about some employees at their former facility in Moberly not getting paid,
I'm not aware of any employees being paid or not being paid.
The Secretary of State's office is also currently looking into Benchmark and told me today the office will get back with me on Monday. As of tonight, they say Benchmark is an active, registered company in good standing.
All right, thanks, Heather. Benchmark Healthcare employs nearly 1,800 people.
Only on ABC 17 News, the Loma Linda Nursing Home employees in Moberly tonight finally have the paychecks that they were waiting on for nearly 3 weeks. Now, we've been telling you about the former owner, Benchmark Healthcare. Its employees' checks were bouncing, and the company's vendors are waiting for thousands of dollars. Today, Benchmark officials spoke only to ABC 17's Heather Horrigan on the company's financial state and why nearly 50 vendors are still without pay from the company. Heather?
That's right. Now, Benchmark still has not paid the employees or vendors. It's the new owner, Fundamental, who took over the responsibility and reimbursed the employees for the checks that bounced. But there is still a huge financial mess. Fundamental took over 11 of Benchmark's 21 nursing homes in Missouri just this past month. And the Fundamental spokeswoman I talked with today says they were completely unaware of Benchmark's financial state. So after several days of calling Benchmark and leaving messages, I got a call back today from Ronnie Sells, the owner's brother and chief operating officer. He did not want to be recorded, but he is the only one to answer some of my many questions. The first being, why did all of these checks bounce? He says the date when Fundamental was to take over changed. It was supposed to be later in the month, and, quote, when they did that, our lending institution got a little nervous that the transition date had moved, end quote. So according to Sells, they did not get the money in time and will see it on October 7th. That is when they say they plan to reimburse Fundamental. Fundamental tells me they have not heard a date from Benchmark. As for the vendors, Mr. Sells tells me there are about 50 he still owes, but says they have been contacted and know about this delay. Despite the bad checks, lawsuits, and other allegations, Benchmark's financial health is in question. But Mr. Sells says, quote, there's no plans for Benchmark Healthcare to file bankruptcy, nor were there ever any plans to do so. Last week, I told you about a pharmacy in Moberly that claims Benchmark owes them $60,000. I asked him about that, and he did not deny the claim and says they are addressing that payment issue for Cribbs Pharmacy.
All right, thanks a lot, Heather. Even though employees have been paid, several are still missing their Christmas Club money and paid time off. Benchmark says the employees will receive that money by October 7th.
The list of accusations is growing tonight against the former owners of a Mid-Missouri nursing home. And now sources are telling ABC 17 News the state has also been investigating Benchmark Healthcare. Good evening, I'm Meredith Haynes. Ryan Tate has the night off. We told you last week Benchmark, the company that once owned Loma Linda Nursing Home in Moberly, was not paying its employees, and several of the company's vendors weren't being paid either. ABC 17's Heather Horrigan continues to follow the story for us. And Heather, tell us what you've learned today.
A source close to Benchmark gave me a list of 30 companies who are owed money, including some here in central Missouri. Those are in addition to the 13 companies that currently have lawsuits against Benchmark. And a source close to the nursing home industry told me today all of this led to the state investigating as far back as 6 months ago. Tonight, the state's health department still won't confirm that investigation. I was able to track down the owner of a Boonville business today who made business cards for Benchmark along with banners and folders. The owner tells me Benchmark is behind on a $5,000 bill. She tells me she most recently received a letter saying the economy, low census, and many other factors caused the facilities to lose substantial sums of money. But it comes a year and a half after the bill was sent to them, and only after several emails were exchanged starting in January. In those emails, the owner of Copy Etc. expresses the impact the missed payments are having on her small business, and all she gets back are promises of payment that still have not been received. Benchmark blaming the economy differs from what Loma Linda employees were told about not getting paychecks. In that case, the workers say the company told them lenders cut off funding. And just 1 week ago, a Benchmark executive told me the company is financially fine, and the only reason employees didn't get paid was because the new owners of the nursing home took over sooner than they had planned. The business owner I told you about says she's going to keep trying to get her money, and we will keep in contact with the state health officials and let you know as things develop.
All right, thanks, Heather. We've also learned Benchmark plans to reimburse the new owners of Loma Linda Nursing Home for paying the employees whose checks bounced last week. We'll follow up to see if that happens October 7th.